Sale prices in residential real estate in Portland Metro have been a little sluggish since the start of June, but they shot up like a rocket this past week. How did that affect the overall average sale price so far this month? Let's take a look at the stats and trends. Welcome to Adam Davis Real Estate with RE/MAX Select here in Portland. I'm Doory, Adam's communications interface. Thank you so much for joining me today as we run through the very latest market stats and trends. If you're new to the channel, it would make me so happy if you would like this video. Maybe share it with someone who could use a little insight, or maybe even subscribe or follow the channel to make sure that you see more videos like this in your feed. Now on with the report. The average sale price in Portland Metro rose by another 4% compared to the previous week, but compared to roughly the same time period last year, the average sale price is up by a whopping 8.3%. That is probably the highest year-over-year jump we've seen so far in 2024. Keep in mind, though, that we are dealing with a relatively small sample of numbers, so we can see a bit of volatility from week to week. Looking, though, at the broader picture, I compared the first 3 weeks of June of this year to the first 3 weeks of June of 2023, and the average sale price landed about 3.1% higher than last year. That feels a little more representative of what I'm seeing in our market right now. Demand was down again this last week. The number of new purchase agreements signed by both buyers and sellers came in at 5% below the previous week. However, that number was on par with what we saw last year at this time. The supply of homes is still rising. Again, that's normal for summer. The number of homes that were new to the market is in line with what we saw last year at this time, so I don't see any big cause for concern, at least not yet. Mortgage rates are always kind of the biggest story, the big market driver. Well, they ticked up a bit from last week. The best rate I could find on Thursday morning was 6.5%, which is the best possible case for the 30-year fixed. Most lenders are probably pushing 7% right now. The slight increase in the rate was due to a couple of Fed board governors making comments about the Fed's willingness to keep rates higher for longer. As a result, there's been some speculation that we won't see a rate cut in the Fed funds rate until next year, and that sent rates up just a hair. We are waiting for a key piece of inflation data, which happens to be one of the Fed's favorite indicators, and that is due out on Friday, which of course is when I publish these videos. So if something changes by Friday morning, I will do my best to post that information right up here. The number of foreclosure and pre-foreclosure properties on the market is still pretty modest, but I did see a slight uptick in the number of notices of default in the metro area. The notice of default, of course, is typically that first step in the foreclosure process. Normally in a week, we'll see, somewhere around 8 to 12 per week. But this last week, I did see 20 issued. That could be a bit of a blip, or maybe it's a bit of a shift. I'll keep an eye on that number over the next couple of weeks and let you know right here. Looking forward, next week we have the 4th of July, and that's typically a very quiet week in Portland real estate. Typically, the weather turns dependably nice in July. School is out, and people go on vacation, including realtors. And of course, when that happens, homes don't get shown and offers don't get written. I will be here next week, all the same, and I'll have the very latest in stats and trends for you next Friday. So let me say thank you for joining me. Have a great 4th of July, and I will see you right here next week.